For the people who just don't know, my name is Crimson, and this is Gameplay on Destiny. Oh man, whew! I am uploading this gameplay because this gameplay is really, really, really good for me. It's really good for me. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about cartoons. All right, so cartoons. So wow, it's been a while since I talked about cartoons on commentary before. I think the last time I talked about cartoons was way back when in Modern Warfare 2. No, it might have been Modern Warfare 3. Both commentaries were on Terminal. Modern Warfare 2 was on Terminal. The map Terminal. I can't say Terminal. And second commentary I did on cartoons was on Terminal Modern Warfare 3. So I'm guessing doing Terminal on Bannerfall, which is kind of like a Terminal, I would guess, is in a tower, would be somewhat similar. Anyway, I like cartoons, right? I'm a grown man. I like watching cartoons. Cartoons are fun. Cartoons on Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network is my favorite. I also watch Archer, Family Guy, American Dad, Bob's Burgers, Simpsons from time to time. There's a whole bunch of other ones. But I mainly want to talk about cartoons on Cartoon Network. Mainly cartoons kind of like the Amazing Show, Steven Universe,
You're in the lead.
There's other ones, but the main two right now is Steven Universe and Steven Universe Awesome Show, and you can throw in Finn and Jake and Adventure Time in there too. The reason I want to talk about them because they seem to be for kids, right? Like that's initially what they are, is cartoons for kids. But now, if you really look at it, as I look at it as an adult, right? You know, I kind of want to look back at old cartoons and look and see what are some of the mature kind of underlying tones in the cartoons, because I'm pretty sure parents out there who have kids that are not watching like little learning cartoons and just watching regular cartoons like on Cartoon Network see this too. But there's like an underlying story or underlying emotions in these cartoons now, where it tells a deeper, sort of darker like story under them. Adventure Time, right? Show that hasn't been on for a little while, but Adventure Time, it talks about Finn's dad and Finn's dad who shows up, and he tells a story about his the day that he left him and his mom, and like how the dad didn't want to talk about the mom because it gave, he didn't say it, but it kind of hurt him in a way to talk about it, because it was just a bad experience, and I think he kind of drowned himself in doing bad things. And Finn and Jake's dad, and how Jake's dad and parents have how they didn't tell him the story about how he was born, there's a lot of underlying tones there, and I had to rewatch it again to really know or remind myself of them. But yeah, and Adventure Time relationships are the main theme in Adventure Time. You got Mordecai's relationship with Margaret and CJ, and how he just really, really sucks at relationships, and how like the different things about those, and just depression, right? And just solving problems. It's just like, wow, like wait a minute, you watch these shows and it's kind of like, man, what the. Wait a minute, like this is a kid show, right, man? How in the world can they get away with talking about these deep, sort of grown-up issues? Well, not grown-up, like kind of like teenage issues, just more mature issues, and just fly under the radar. What's the last one? Steven Universe, right? And him growing up without a mom, and he's everyone talks about his mom and how great she was, and all the, there's a bunch of backstories about how his mom used to do all these things and just so great. And you got Connie, and let's talk about the relationship between Steven and Connie for a second here, okay? The fusion. I'm pretty sure I said this in the commentary before, but the gym fusion that Connie and Steven do, Stevani, right? Man, that's clearly about sex. All right, that's clearly sex right there. Young people having sex right there. That's, but they disguise it as fusion, and that's what fusion is, right? The way I kind of like interpret it, right? They pass it off as this thing between like gems do to become one with each other. That's what Garnet is. It's just like Garnet, one of the gems that looks over Steven, is a fusion between Sapphire and Ruby, the two gems, and how they dance and dancing, and then they come together and fuse. That's if you want if I was telling a story, right? If I was creator of Steven Universe, and someone asked me about gem fusion, I feel man, it's just sex. It's just like a whole bunch of lesbian sex, and the only heterosexual sex being had on the show is between two kids, Connie and Steven. That's what that is. But let's. I already talked too much about that. But the whole Steven's like issue with his relationship with his mom, or lack thereof, and how he he's kind of somewhat struggling with his whole being a human and being a gem at the same time. There's a couple of episodes where there was an episode not too long ago where Steven's dad told a story about how Steven's dad tried to fuse with Rose Quartz, Steven's mom, when he found out when Steven and Connie fused together, or at the end, Steven's dad said, like, I know how it is to be a human, trying to get with a gem. And, Steven kind of looked at himself like, human. But he has a gem, so he's half human, half gem. And then there was this latest episode where Connie finally tells her mom that, she's been sword training with Steven. She can do things, and finally reveals all this stuff that she's been doing with the gems, right? And how she kind of like became closer with her mom, and Steven kind of looked back holding his mom's sword, and it's like, man, like you see that, and it's kind of like telling underlying stories that as a kid you probably wouldn't get And I think cartoons now, or like just that shows how society now is growing, right? You know, you have the whole
Nice work, Guardians. Your efforts have
more
been
accepting of different lifestyles. You know, how lifestyle like not, how the homosexual community is now more accepted. You know, than what 10 years ago, and how different sort of lifestyles are kind of conversing and being more mature, right? You know, these are conversations that you need to have with kids now, I feel, and I think cartoons is a great gateway to kind of talk about these issues. You know, as far as like Cartoon Network. Now, if you go into like Archer and Family Guy and American Dad, that's a whole different ballpark. But I digress. Till next time, people. Deuces. Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, please leave a like rating. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. And if you liked the video and my channel, please help support my channel by going to patreon.com/crimson for the people and leave a donation for me. It'll help out the channel and help me give you, the people, better content for the people. Till next time, people. Thank you. Deuces.